The following is a compilation of one of my favorite series called You Suck at Fish Tanks. It is thoroughly enjoyed by a lot of you. It's why a lot of you here are subscribed, so thank you so much for the support and the love you've shown for this series. But just to make it clear for a few of the people offended by the title, You Suck at Fish Tanks is a parody from the channel You Suck at Cooking, and the title is strictly for the joke. I do not think you suck at fish tanks. If anything, I suck at fish tanks because I make mistakes all the time. Anyway, smash the like button and subscribe. Please enjoy this compilation.
Oh hey, I'm glad you decided to click on this video, and I hope that you'll stay for a while. I'm guessing that you're watching this video because you want to learn how to make a betta fish tank, and fortunately you can, because you have free will. Anyways, the first thing you want to do is find a tank that looks something like this. Now, find the center of the surface you want to put the tank on, and make sure to place it down carefully. Now, this next step is very important, and often missed out on by first-time fish keepers. After checking that the tank is indeed centered, you want to take your dominant hand and slap it the fuck away. Parents, fish tanks like this are too small for betta fish, and this thing is neon blue. This color is hardly ever found in nature, maybe only in certain dart frogs. Go ahead and pick this tank if you want your kids to be imbeciles when they grow up. Now, go ahead and smash that like button as hard as I'm smashing this incompetent trash bin. And subscribe if you are enjoying my sarcastic commentary. So, what you really want is a fish tank that looks like this. At least a 5-gallon so your fish has room to swim. Also, real fish tanks have curves. Next, you'll want to get some pink colored gravel. You can find this at any pet store with owners that could care less about self-respect. You'll want to carefully cut open a hole and hold the bag at an angle so that we can efficiently pour it out into the tank. Don't worry about pre-washing. Now what you want to do is carefully hold it over the tank and then pour it straight into your closest garbage bin. Don't get me wrong, many people use pink gravel and they're all good people. They just deserve to die. What you really want to look for is something more natural. Don't worry, I will not rush you into the world of planted tanks as that can get very complicated very quick. Seeing how this is a betta tank setup video, let's ease you into the aquascaping hobby one step at a time. For this scape, I have chosen a light colored substrate. Feel free to choose whichever neutral and natural color you want. It also does not have to be sand. I just like to be reminded of being in Hawaii when in reality I'm trapped in the 9-to-5 grind, like a prisoner. If you are using sand, do not rinse it as dry sand is way easier to work with than wet sand. If you are using a light colored substrate, make sure to tone down the lighting and cap it at 6 to 8 hours a day. Lighter substrate can grow algae fast. You don't want that. I usually like to create a slope with the substrate to make it more interesting to look at and create dimension. This brush is part of a cheap $12 aquascaping set, and I suggest you grab it off Amazon if you are planning to do any kind of aquascaping. Of course, you can create the slope with your fingers as well, but let's face it, that's just not as cool. Next up is the hardscape. I have chosen to use Seiru stone because I also have free will. If it's your first time aquascaping, these are gonna make your tank look great. I will also be using manzanita wood later on. Other beginner-friendly hardscaping options include the very popular Oko stone and a variety of aquarium-safe hardwoods. Place the stones in a way that is pleasing to you, or just copy what I'm doing. Don't worry, I won't tell your friends that you're a copycat. Wow, look at you, you're doing great, is what I would say if you were actually following along. Quit playing with my feelings. If you're like me and you also live in the abominable tundra known as Canada, you're going to want a heater in this tank for your betta. This will keep your betta alive. I'm going to hide the heater behind the hardscape, like I hide my feelings from my family. And remember, wood is good. Now you say it. Nice! Next, we'll add a filter. This will also keep your betta alive. If you don't feel like getting scammed by the cutthroat filter industry, check out my video on how to avoid this. To fill up our tank, we'll use saran wrap. Saran wrap! To guard our substrate from being stirred up, make sure your water is dechlorinated. Although we're not going for a planted tank this time, feel free to add some natural embellishments. I have a few Anubias Nana cuttings lying around, so I will wedge them within the hardscape. Since this tank has no lid and Betta are very strong jumpers, I highly suggest capping the surface with some simple floater plants. You can use duckweed, salvinia, frogbit, water sprite, guppy grass, hornwort, elodia, and many more. Floater plants will also prevent algae and suck up toxins produced by the fish poop. Last but not least, we add the light. This is a simple $15 LED light I found on Amazon and it works perfectly. Make sure you hook it up to a timer, you'll thank me later. Alright, now, we can add the fish, right? Yeah, sure, if you want to go to hell. The tank has not been cycled yet. It's basically the nitrogen cycle that you learned in grade 11 if you weren't too busy trying to get Stacy's attention. Stacy, if you're watching this, please just give me another chance. I'm still not over you. To properly start the cycling process, either dose the tank with some beneficial bacteria, drop in some fish food, or in my case, use existing fish tank water to kickstart the cycle. Now you wait. I recommend waiting a full week before adding the fish, so see you in 7 days. So it's been 7 days for me, and 1 second for you. Call me David Copperfield. Also, I know that there's nothing I can say to stop you from waiting only 1 day and saying, f it, I can't wait anymore, and dropping the fish in. But at least acclimate the fish by floating the bag or container and gradually introduce some of the tank water. Finally, it's time for your new best friend to discover and enjoy the marvelous new home that you created for them. I'm so proud of you that I could cry if I had feelings. Anyways, it's time to take some nice shots and pictures of your Betta, maybe start an Instagram or YouTube channel. Seriously, Betta are amazing pets, and I hope you enjoy your time together. See you in the next one.
Alright, first, you gotta go to the local fish store and get yourself a little something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. My apologies for getting a little excited there. Now find a table, put your stuff on that table, and drink some coffee. It has to be the usual burnt stuff from Starbucks, or this won't work. Trust me, I've tried. The next step is to remember the awesome fish tanks you saw at the fish store and cry because your tank will never look as good as theirs. Crying is essential in this step because it helps you clear your head. Now that we've finished crying, inspect the glass of your new tank. Or you don't have to, I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. So for substrate, I got Fluvostratum because it smells like a Big Mac, and it's pretty good for planted tanks. I also got a piece of spiderwood. That's right, I gave someone else my money in exchange for some dirt and a tree branch. Welcome to the hobby. We're doing a dirted tank today. That means we need this big boy. $8 got me this huge bag of organic potting mix from my home and garden center, and we only need a couple scoops. Now we cap it with Big Mac stratum. Make sure to pour it in nicely and get some ASMR up in there. Did you enjoy that, you weirdo? Now place your expensive branch wherever you feel like. Usually somewhere in the back will do. Oh, and it's gonna float because wood magically floats in water. So tie it down with a rock, teach it a lesson. Now fill your tank with water. Take it slow, we don't want to be hurting anyone's feelings. Before you fill it all the way up, we're gonna get some planting done. But where do we get these plants? So you find your local Asian guy, and he'll hook you up. Remember, it's important for every fish keeper to eventually have an Asian guy. Now we're back at the crib and ready to plant. Pearlweed is a very small plant, so it'll take some dexterity and patience to get these into the substrate. Sometimes these plants can be stubborn. Alright, get in. Just...
Add some floater plants to suck up all the excess nutrients. Make sure to throw them in, or it won't have the same effect.
Kobe.
Holy crap, we're done. Congratulations, you should be really proud of yourself. I know I am. Now we wait. For a few months because we don't have CO2 injection, so things are gonna be a little slower. Whoa, okay, that's a lot of algae. So you want to take that out. Try setting your lights on for 8 hours a day. Decrease it if it's still too much. And voila, nothing to it. Now the next step is to take a bunch of cinematic shots of your planted tank and post it all over social media. Alright, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy your new life with your planted tank. Have a wonderful day and see you in the next one. Hey guys, welcome the heck back to my channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we are going to be aquascaping a fishbowl. That's right, you heard it. But you know what? We're not talking about this boring shape of a fishbowl.
We're not talking about this or this. We're talking about this.
We're actually talking about this. Wow, look at that. 1,000 times more interesting just by moving the opening slightly to the left. Now, we're not about to put any goldfish in this bowl. The only thing worse than goldfish in a fishbowl is not smashing that like button and not subscribing. So make sure you do those things before we get started. Now, the first thing we want to do is prime our fishbowl. We do this by introducing some pink gravel. Make sure to swish it around in there and really cover every nook and cranny. This is to make our fishbowl believe that we'll be using pink gravel to scape it. After scaring the fishbowl like this, it ensures that no matter what we do with the scape afterwards, it will be beyond the fishbowl's expectations. Now, this is a rock we'll be using in our aquascape. This little piece alone probably cost me about $10. I go to work every day so that I can buy rocks. This is a twig. I got it for free because someone on the internet loves me, but if they didn't, I would have had to spend like 30 bucks on it. That's a lot of McDonald's. And this is sand from Carib Sea. I got it straight from one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie sets, so don't even ask me how much this cost. Let's put our pirate ashes into the fishbowl first. This is called a substrate. Kinda sounds like the word subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. Do it. We're going to be doing some scaping now, so enjoy the Minecraft music. I promised myself not to overuse the fog machine thing, but
Well, I hope you guys enjoy this little escape. Please don't put a betta fish in here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to get your hands wet. CO2 does not need to be expensive and is not hard to install. I have a link to the CO2 kit I used, or an equivalent kit if mine is no longer available. They're all quite similar. First, get a couple 2-liter bottles of your favorite diabetes drink. Swap one out for the diet variant for an additional challenge. Go ahead and chug both of them down. I'll wait. Alright, now that you have diabetes, we can go to the next step. Prepare just a little short of a cup of baking soda, and the same amount for citric acid. You can get citric acid at most grocery stores and pharmacies, as well as on Amazon. Prepare the same portion of water for your baking soda mixture. Screw on the side with the pressure gauge with the citric acid bottle. The baking soda bottle screws on the other cap. Now this is a solenoid. This device allows us to automate CO2 diffusion. Hook it onto a timer and set the timer to turn the CO2 on and off to your preference. A little pro tip is to time the start of the CO2 an hour before your lights turn on, so that enough CO2 has built up in your system. Likewise, set the timer to turn off CO2 an hour before your lights are scheduled to turn off, as there will be an excess of CO2 in your tank for around an hour after it stops. After the solenoid comes the bubble counter. This is very important as it will allow you to determine exactly how much CO2 is going into your system, so you can properly determine the best amount later on with some trial and error. Oh yeah, and if you've ever seen this flaccid thing in a planted tank and wondered why, this is a drop checker. It lets you know by color if you have the optimal amount of CO2 in the tank. I don't like using this if I don't have to. I don't enjoy the aesthetic. Luckily, we'll be using a minimal amount of CO2 and under-injecting, but please, if this is your first time, get that drop checker. It's the main way to accurately measure your tank's CO2 levels. From the bubble counter, we go straight to the CO2 diffuser, or as I like to call it, the mini auto saxophone. Build up enough so that the needle is in the green zone. So repeat this process until that happens. Alright, green zone. Green means go. Now all we have to do is place our diffuser into the tank and turn the release knob. Wow. Don't go crazy with it, always take it slow with CO2. You might end up gassing your fish if you inject too much, too quickly. And that's it. Nothing to it. CO2 is a great way to enhance a couple of different aspects in your aquarium, so if you're considering it, this DIY place is not a bad place to start at all. Do your research, there's tons of information out there on these specifics. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. There'll be more videos to come, and don't forget to get your hands wet.